Between the Strings episode with Kawai Carvahlo of Coast Ukulele. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, man. We've been talking about this for oh god, it's probably been like almost a year since we've been going back and forth on a couple of things. I think A, building a uke,
Hmm.
and then B, I've been telling you about UkeTV, I think, since I've been telling everybody about it.
Yeah, you've been talking
So
about it for a while, and it's so excited to see it just take off.
yeah,
It's just like all of a sudden you're in a room with like all the best players. I'm like, what?
that was a kind of I guess I'll call it a fluke, or if you want to call it
Take it.
some sort of divine thing. But yeah, I was planning on my trip for February, and then somewhere around January, Andrew Molina and I don't know if you know, but I actually work with him on his academy, but I also manage his
Cool.
business now. I actually am his manager now.
Great. Talk to you about
Yeah,
that next.
and yeah, for sure. And so we were talking about he was coming over to Oahu as well at the same time I was going to be there, and he said, "You know what, man? Let's do your first UTV episode there. Let's see if we can get like a roundtable kind of thing." And we were starting to talk about it. We're like, yeah, sure, we'll I mean, we knew everybody, but we are like, yeah, like the chances of Jake and Taimane and
Hmm.
Herb and Brian and
Hmm.
Brittany all being there at the same, right, sure. And we just kept reaching out, and everybody was like, yeah, I'm in town, and yeah, I'll do it. And we were going, oh my god, I can't believe this is actually
That's
happening.
wild. Wild.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a stellar night, and we had, I mean, and on top of it, in the background, we had Isaac Peters, who runs Ukulele Lab,
Hmm.
and is also Herb Oda Jr.'s manager. He actually did
Hmm.
all the recording for me.
Cool.
So he did all that, and then I don't know if have you met Sean Yakovone from Ukulele Friend?
No, but I follow and
Okay,
just you know
yeah, stellar.
appreciate all the things they're doing and for
Yeah,
the history and the community. It's wild.
yeah. So he came along, and he was sitting there as well. So not only in front of the camera, behind the camera, we also had
Hmm.
some other additional rock stars of the industry there too. So it
Yeah,
was it was really cool, man.
it was
Um,
beautiful, beautiful.
but no, I appreciate you being on, and
Thank you.
we've had all these, we've had so many well-known name folks coming on, and meeting and everything else. One of the things that I'm loving is I'm starting to talk with, some of the builders, some of the artists who people know, but it's not like you've been around for 25, even 10 years doing this. Exactly. So the cool, but the people that I know that own your ukes, the people that I know that
Hmm.
know about you, they love your story, they love what you're doing. So I think the thing where I'd love to just start, where I sort of start with everybody, is how did you get started on this, man? Like,
Yeah,
how did you start building ukuleles? It's not
cool.
exactly, people go for guitars first or something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ukulele is a much smaller, piece of the world in terms of music.
Cool. Yeah. So for me, of course, it's I was born in Hawaii. I grew up in Hawaii. I am Portuguese, Hawaiian, white. Most people in Hawaii are mixed these days, and so I grew up with Hawaiian music. When I was 18, I foolishly moved out of Hawaii, but I came to California, and I've been in California since. All my family is still in Hawaii, so I do visit often. I didn't really play ukulele growing up. We had some in the house, um, and it wasn't until like way later, after my partner and I had I think we went after having our first kid to visit family, and I was like, "We're in Hawaii. We're staying on the beach. We should get an ukulele."
Yep,
And so
yep.
my first ukulele was a Makala Dolphin.
Nice.
Great, great ukulele at that price range. I was just like, this is amazing. So I got it for my kid to bang around with, and I took it.
Nice.
Sure, I let them hold it, but I'm like, I'm gonna take it back and play some music.
Yeah, exactly.
Fell in love. Went back home. I was living in San Francisco at the time. Of course, UAS hit hard, picked up another, I think I picked up another Kala, picked up a Kanilea, wanted to really support Portuguese builders. And just was like playing, this was before the pandemic. I was going to like ukulele conventions. Like I think there was one in San Francisco. Met like Steven Espanola. Took some lessons from Steven on like Hawaiian
Nice.
singing. I need to take more. Trying.
Yeah, yeah, it's not easy.
So yeah, no. And so this was still so now the pandemic hit, right? So we're in whenever that started. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah,
And I was like, UAS ukulele acquisition syndrome was going, and I was like, I really kind of want to buy like a nice custom. And then I was looking into it, and then I was like, well, what I could do, because I'm also so fascinated with this instrument and how it works, like the magic of how it works. I could maybe instead of spending the money on buying a fancy one, I could try building one. And for everyone out there, it is cheaper to buy a fancy one than build one.
And you know what? And this is going to be fun for folks. Just to give everybody a little teaser. Kawai and I are going to talk through the process of a build for me today,
Cool.
but this is something we'll definitely want to come back to. I want to make sure I note it, is that this is a huge discussion for people, because people think, oh, I'm spending a couple few or whatever grand on a custom uke. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
why are they so expensive? And we're gonna get to that. So let's put a pin in that. So continue
Yeah.
on about building versus buying. So so you decide to build one.
Yeah, so I started with just like a kit, like because when you buy it from a kit, a lot of the you don't need as many tools. Like a lot of the
Right.
bigger parts are done. You can buy some tools, and so I built a kit, and it like barely whet my appetite. I'm like barely scratched the itch, and I was like, I need to do the entire thing myself. I from start to finish. But even from that first kit, I just like felt that connection back to Hawaii. Like hearing it strum, feel like even today when I finish an instrument and I get strings on it, it feels like magic. Even though
Yeah.
I'm up to like 60 now, every single one feels like magic. And it just brings, and it's been a way for me to connect to my Hawaiian heritage, my Hawaiian ancestry, my Portuguese ancestry. We can talk a little bit more about that journey that I took with I wanted to look more into where my family came from. The ukulele being a Portuguese instrument that was created in Hawaii. So yeah, so I started with the kit, didn't even like scratch, like I was like,
Yeah.
I need to do everything. So then of course, then I bought more tools, like, like if you can see right up there, there was my side, my hot iron that I did my
Yep.
side bending on in the beginning before I then invested in side benders. So like slowly built up. When I first started, I was in I'm still in a really small garage.
Sure.
This is just a 2-car garage. The majority of it behind this wall is kids' toys, you know, and
Yeah.
like a third of it is where I work. But before was even smaller. So like I had the world's smallest bandsaw, and I've upgraded. So I've been upgrading and buying more tools. And then again, even from the very first one I built, like just felt this connection to it, felt the magic of it. And then it became, so before building, I was playing more. Now, pretty much, I spend all my time building, and I really
Yeah. Isn't
should
that the
probably spend a
way?
little more time practicing. But I hear a lot of luthiers, uh, maybe not everyone, but many don't play as much as they build.
They don't, it's so, my regular day job is now I'm a, sports photographer. I've been doing it for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
but been doing it full time, for about 6 years now. And I don't take pictures like outside of my work anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I
yeah.
don't do that. Like I'm like tell my wife and daughters, I'm like, you guys take the pictures. Like I'm good. And even as myself for Ukulele Mana and UkeTV and everything I'm doing within the uke industry, I don't play as much, and I'm still a beginner intermediate player myself, even though I have the collection that I have back there.
Yeah.
UAS is, as you can see, is alive and well in my own home.
Hmm.
And I don't get the chance to play as many of these world class ukes as I would love to,
Hmm.
just because we get so busy doing all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so
The
when
cool
was
the
that?
oh,
I was going to say real quick, when was that? Just for context for everybody, when did you build that first uke, that kit that you did?
yeah, I was looking back and I say like, oh, the kit. So that would be like early 2020. So like the pandemic just kind of started.
So we're talking
Needed,
just like a few years ago.
yeah. And then the first one that I completed that was start to finish a coast ukulele was I think it completed in October 2020.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not even 3 years into your Coast Ukulele business.
Yeah. And then how I learned to was like, there was a pandemic. I didn't meet anybody in person. Everything I learned was through like online videos, message boards, uh, just trial and error, you know.
Yeah.
So that's like, and even to today, like I've only met a couple of other luthiers. Um, Everything else was kind of like figuring it out online and in person. Like, and for the most part, there's so much information out there that it's totally accessible to do that. And
Oh,
the other
sure.
part, it would have been nice on some parts to have someone look over my shoulder. Would have been a little
Oh
quicker to
yeah.
learn.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the sort of pre-internet way really was, you were an
Hmm.
apprentice for years.
Yes. Yeah.
And even still to this day, you'll see, like Steve Grimes has a, I guess you'd call him an apprentice, but an assistant
Hmm.
that does some of the work with him and has been learning from him
Cool.
for years. And hopefully, if Steve does retire, he takes over, because I don't want to
Nice.
ever lose the Steve Grimes build quality of the world.
Nope.
Um, and before going back to the learning thing, you mentioned the size of your garage and your space. One of the top luthiers in the world, if in some people's eyes the top luthier in the world, Eric Devine.
Mm.
His workshop, if you've either watched the episode that I did with him, or if you know Eric, his workshop is a like people take those shipping containers and convert them into,
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah,
his workshop is a shipping container.
yeah, yeah,
And so it's not, I guarantee you it's not much bigger, if at all bigger, than than the space you're working in with your garage, because
yeah,
you couldn't even fit a car in that thing.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe one car.
yeah.
So
Totally.
when you're a solo builder and you're not building, you know whatever, some large amount at a time, you don't need that much space. It's just, what tools do you need
Yeah.
and the space for that,
Hmm.
so it's, I
Yeah,
think,
definitely. Like
people
this
like,
space
oh,
feels like a luxury compared to the last space that I was in.
well, and especially if you were in San Francisco, I mean,
Well, I started in Petaluma, so
okay,
we already
you did,
moved.
okay,
Yeah, we
okay.
moved to Petaluma, so we had a garage, but that garage was just like it was barely two sticks and a wall, like it was trying to do any kind of humidity control. No, that was before I
Oh
even
yeah.
thought of humidity. Now I have like my humidifiers, my dehumidifiers. Some days I don't even look at the garage, don't open that door. But
Yep.
back in the old
Yep.
one, there was no way to like control that.
Yeah, no, I mean, in here you can't really see it, but I've got a dehumidifier over to this side, and back in the corner here I've got a humidifier. They're both
Yeah,
auto,
same.
and sometimes they're running against each other to hold it. But yeah, and I've got, it's like I've got hygrometers,
Yeah.
everywhere.
I got a little air
Um,
thing that like sends me, messages to my phone, and I'm like, oh
oh yeah,
no, it's above a
yeah. I have
certain
the
percentage.
Govee. I have the Govee
Yeah.
units on the
Go.
walls, and they're always notifying me. But
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of learning, I even bought, and I haven't finished going through it yet, but Jay Lichty, who is also another top
Mm.
notch builder, he has
Yes.
an entire end to end. Actually, I think he's done two sets of workshops online, that you can go buy him through the O'Brien Guitars
Yeah.
website. And I mean,
Yeah.
he walks you through every little, I mean, Jay says, jokingly, if you're having trouble sleeping, watch my workshop and it'll put you right to sleep. Just because he's literally going through everything.
Yeah, that is actually the videos that I watched. So
okay,
when I first started on that first build, I watched that entire series all the way through, and then every night before going to bed, I would watch the section that I was going to do tomorrow.
Perfect.
And it was So if you have the money to afford the O'Brien series, it's got a little price to it, but it is that the Jay Lichty one walks you through.
Yep. And I mean,
you will build an excellent ukulele for your first one if you just follow that, and then you can evolve your building from that.
I mean, you're literally learning from a master luthier right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As long as you've got, the desire and the attention span and the diligence to like actually follow through with it. And then, you end up, and I think a lot of people, you get people, it's like, well, am I basically just copying his uke? No, you're not. I mean, you're always, even if you followed everything to a T, even if he gave you the parts himself, your uke is still going to come out slightly different than whatever it is that he would build right next to you. It just, that's the way it goes.
And we're all basing what we build off on those originals too.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. So, yeah, man. So, okay. So we've been doing this almost 3 years now.
Continuing my story. So, and then part of my story, which is a big part of my story, is, so we're in the pandemic. My partner and I, EB, we have 2 kids. We are expecting our 3rd child. And I fully expected that I was going to build a couple more, have our 3rd kid, and then I'm like, I'm not going to have time to build anymore. But in early 2021, pretty much the whole year of 2021, tragedy struck our family. My partner passed away in January. She had a heart attack. The best they could figure out is just complications with pregnancy and some like pre-existing some heart conditions. So she passed away in 2020. That was incredibly hard.
Yes.
We also got kicked out of our house.
Oh,
not on our part. Just the owner that we were renting from wanted to move back in. So about a month after my partner died, she was like, "Oh, here's your 60-day notice," and I'm like,
"You gotta be kidding me! I did not know about that one."
That was like losing my partner. It was like the biggest grief and hard on my heart and my body and my soul and everything. But having to then move 2 kids was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But we got lucky. We found a place that we were able to buy. I was going to look into moving, and I was like, I don't want to ever get kicked out again. Like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want someone to control whether or not we get to stay here, even if we're not doing anything wrong,
Yep.
And then the last tragedy of 2021 is I also got laid off from work. But that's later. So we moved into our new home, this garage. And luckily, the kids' grandparents came and kind of like bought me a little work desk because I didn't think I was going to build anymore. The other thing that was part of this too, part of the ukulele community and the aloha of the ukulele community, right before she died, I purchased some like really nice figured spalted mango wood from Quality Woods. And when she died, I was just like, what are we going to do? Like, we don't have money. Like, so I wrote and I was like, hey, I know I just bought this wood from you. Is it possible that I could return it? We're having big family issues right now. And he was like, keep it.
Oh, man.
Keep it. And when you have time, build again. And that brought tears.
Wow.
Tears.
Absolutely.
Like the aloha in the ukulele community is wild. It's like, I grew up in Hawaii. I have this connection to aloha, and the ukulele is a way to like feel that aloha for anyone in the world. Like it's and so yeah, that was huge. That was really huge. So thank you.
100%. Yeah. We'll give a shout out to Quality Woods. I'll tag them and put their link.
That is where your Kopiko ula wood is from.
So I knew that. I remember that.
Yeah. So we're back. We moved. I didn't think I was going to build again just because of trying to, we're transition, always going through grief, feeling grief and having time and space for that. being a solo parent of two small children. They were 1 and 3 at the time. But their grandparents came. They bought me a desk. They kind of like set up. Like it was not quite as back then as full as this. It was very smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And I started building again, and that seriously saved me. That saved me. As a solo parent, I don't really get to leave the house.
Yeah.
Unless my two kids are with me. So
Especially
I don't
they're
get
small.
to like. They're
Yeah.
small. Yeah, I don't get to. I don't have any. I can't leave. But building ukuleles, it's like no matter what the stresses of my day was, the stress of grief, the stress of parenting, the stress of moving, the stress of losing my job, the second I was at this desk and building ukuleles, complete calm. No
Amazing.
matter how stressed, even if I was doing a stressful part of building the ukulele, just like my soul was calm. And that saved me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man.
I still had a job for the most of the year, so I was still working online on my computer. But then I kind of got the writing on the wall that this wasn't going to last. I could feel the layoffs were coming, for the pandemic layoffs were coming. So I started ramping up because I was like, I can't get another job. I can't leave the house. I don't really want to sit in front of a computer all day anymore. My eyes were like not happy about that. And so I started ramping up behind the scenes, like this workshop, in the hopes that like, well, I really love building ukuleles. I want to do this. And it's in my garage. I can just go back and forth, parent. If the kids are like happy and doing something, I'll come back for 5 minutes and work. They'll need something, I'll go back. And like, I just juggle that. I juggle
Yep.
that.
Yep.
But I can do that. I can do that from home. I can do that when they're sleeping. And so I'm still working on making this a like profitable business, and we're getting there. Once both kids are in school, and I have like some dedicated time, which is coming this fall. So everyone who's
Woohoo!
waiting for a nuke, I should have more time to build. Hopefully, coming in fall. This last year, I had about 7 hours of kid free time a week from school and preschool. Next year, starting fall, looking more like 25 hours. So that's like a big
Wow.
difference.
Yeah.
So I started building again, and then what was it? So we're in 2022, I guess. I really pushed hard on my building to like really try to get further, like fine tune what I was doing, fine tune how many I could build, fine tune the process, expand things like inlays, expand what I could do, expand what tools I would need. I worked really hard. I made 20 something ukes that year while parenting two kids by myself.
Wow. That's
That
a
was too
lot.
hard. So
That's
this
a
year
lot.
that's a lot. That's a lot. But I got further ahead than I ever thought I would. I put in the work, and I got further ahead than I thought. Like I had stores reach out to me, like the Southern Uke store reached out to me, and that was
Yep.
amazing. I visited the Ukulele Site, and they picked up some. So I have like, I did not think I was going to be in stores, which is
Yep.
wild to think of.
Yeah.
And so
I know, and I know, I mean, I've seen the ukes that Alex got from the Southern Ukulele store. I've seen the ones that that Kataka's got, and even back then, I think I was telling you when I first got on the phone, I'm like, man, the quality of the work. I hadn't put my hands on one, but the quality of the work from what I was seeing and from what I knew from other folks that were using them was super high. And I'm like, man,
yeah,
before you know it, you're going to be able to ramp your prices. And I know that that's not, I think to your own sort of personality, that's not been your goal, even though given all the story you just talked about, financials, should are a goal, but your goal has been to find, like hone your craft, fine tune your craft, and build the best ukulele possible. But I said, I know that these, I know your uke prices are going to be, you're going to be a viable candidate to like, actually boost this up. And I think these stores have shown you that, and the fact that what those ukes have sold for are, was impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like to think about the business, and I rather just think about the building.
I know.
If I had someone
Most
could
artists
sponsor
do.
me,
Yeah.
If someone could sponsor me and feed my kids and clothe them, and I could just build ukuleles for free, I would just, oh gosh, if you're out there, talk to me.
Well,
But
think
I
about
am
all of
so
us customers
appreciative.
as
Yeah.
sponsors. You know, that's what
Thank
we
you.
are.
Yes, I do.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I
Thank you.
mean, that is we buy from builders like you for reasons, right? And so
Thank you.
the key is making sure that you, even if you're not trying to think about it, you know, trust me, like I said, even the best luthiers, some of the names I've already thrown out to you, they all hate the business side of it, man. They don't like the
Yeah.
business. They don't like the sales side. They don't like the pricing side. They don't like the marketing side, social media, all that stuff. Like they just want to build.
Yeah. Good to know that I'm not alone on that.
No, you are absolutely not. I'm talking people that have been building for 20 something years.
Yeah.
They all feel that same way, even after 20 years. But it is the
Oof.
reality of the world that we live in. I hate charging for
Yeah.
my photography, but you know, you got bills to pay. So
Yeah.
it is what it is, but yeah.
Cool. Can I show off? You actually are calling on a really good time. I almost never have any ukuleles with strings on. Like I build them, I set them up, I test them out, and then they're out the door.
Yeah, we do get the videos with you and your kids though, which I always love.
Yeah.
I love your demo videos,
No,
man.
they're great.
With the kids,
They're in the back. Maybe I'll try to, after we're done talking, maybe I'll see if I can get them to come poke in. If they're here now, we're not even going to be able to talk.
Yeah. They'll probably dominate the camera. They'll probably push you out of the way.
Oh, they'll push me out. They'll push each other out of the way, which will be the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Let's
So
see.
show us some stuff that you've been working on.
Cool. So I've got this one, which I'm super excited about. So we got
some nice live edge.
We got the live edge sound hole. I know I'm definitely by no means the first person to do a live edge sound hole. Ty does amazing work. I've seen some other folks do amazing work. I don't know if I've seen guitars. Have you seen guitars with a live edge? Probably, right?
I'm sure there are, but not typically. And I wonder if that's just because of the
structure,
how the structural, with the size of the body.
But I started. So when I built one of the first ukuleles for the Ukulele Site, I had this really nice set of koa that I was saving for a special occasion, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I kept looking at it, and all I could see, I saw the live edge, but I also saw, I saw the live edge seam, and I was like, is that silly? Is that silly? And I was like, I had like, I swear, I slept on it for like 3 nights, and every night I had a dream about it, and I envisioned the ukulele, and I'm so glad I did it. It worked out wonderful. So I've been starting to do like, where I follow the live edge through the seam, so you get like you really encompass that whole live edge.
I love the way that
it. Yeah.
I love the way that one curved, man. When you did that first one.
Yeah. Oh, it was this. I mean, I had to. Like, I was gonna not do it because I've never done it before. But the wood was like, the wood was like this is it. Like, this is what I want. Like, I was envisioning how this tree was becoming wood and the journey it would become to continue to share its breath as an ukulele. And it was like, I could not listen to the wood. It was telling me very clearly that was the vision. So I've been doing that much more, and I've been really enjoying it. It's a lot more work, but I think it captures that it continues that beauty of the live edge.
I mean, if you can structurally make it sound and it works,
yeah.
I mean, dude, it is. You're, like you said, you're not the first to do live edge, and Tide, who I'm a bit. In fact, actually, I'm wearing one of their hats right now, of Tyler and Devin. They're amazing, and
amazing.
They actually just finished a live edge ancient Blackwood uke for me, and I haven't seen, everything has been, straight down the center seam like you normally see. And so yours was the first time when you did that. I was like, oh crap. That's cool. Like I had never even thought of that.
I don't want to assume I was the first one, but I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, I mean, and if you're not definitely not claiming that, but you are definitely, if there's others out there, you are one of few who have done the, following that natural curve of the wood.
And I'm excited to see the next luthier, where they take that vision even further too. One thing I love about the luthier community, especially for ukulele, is like there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of like sharing of knowledge.
So you are, and I'm going to take this opportunity now to say it. You epitomize why I do what I do. with this, I mean, talk about not, I make no money off of Ukulele Mana and UkeTV and everything I do, back there. But the reason I do it is because there is a special spirit about ukulele and the ukulele
Mm-hmm.
community and the connection with Hawaii and Portugal and Madeira, Madeira and the whole machete and that whole side of the world. There's a culture, there's a community, there's a whole piece, and the reason why I called my website and my social media Ukulele Mana was because it is about the unique spirit of everything
Yeah.
that we do, whether it's like you've already talked about. The tree called out to me,
Sure.
this piece of wood called out to me, this design and this inlay called out to me, the people call, like just this, there is a unique spirit about every aspect of this entire world that doesn't, it's not the same on any other level. And
Yeah.
it's come out in all my episodes, whether it's guitar or other musical instruments. There's none of it's the same. No
Yeah.
community collaborates like this, whether it's players, whether it's, even the, you talk about the uke building community and how much you collaborate. The shops are the same way. Like you talk, you talk to, Andrew Katakis knows Sean Yakovon, and Sean Yakovon knows Tyler Gilman, and Tyler Gilman knows Isaac Peters, and Mim from Mim's Ukes, and Alex way over across the pond in Southern Ukulele Store, and Andreas way over in Germany at Gut Ukulele, and the folks over in Japan and Korea. I mean, they know each other, whether it's through just, communication, or they've been to events together, whatever, and they talk and they share, or it's NAM is obviously a huge one, but like they talk and they share, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And you embody that to the T.
Thank you. Well, I again, like it just it saved me. It really literally saved me. And I only build ukuleles. I don't have any plans on I love other instruments. Everyone knows I play a lot of banjo. I have no plans on building those. I just build ukuleles. Brings me to my connection. Like I was mentioning, let's see. So when I started building and I was getting a little more serious, I wanted to know more about my Portuguese ancestry. Like I knew we weren't one of the three, but I was like, were we on the same boat?
Yeah, right.
So I was able to get from a distant relative this book about the Carvahlo family, and it's mostly about my great grandpa August Carvahlo, but it talks a lot about, where is it? Tomas Carvahlo. And so, here's a picture of the book too. So through the Portuguese community center in Hawaii, so it actually has all these like logs. So my great grandpa was also a widower.
Oh wow!
And he had, what was it? Was it 6 or 7 kids? Gosh, I should have took notes before I started.
That's fine, man.
Let's just say 6 for now.
I like these episodes to be casual, man. It doesn't need to be formal.
So, he was a widower. Let's just say 6 kids, young kids, and he traveled for 156 days. Anytime I'm thinking about how hard it is being a solo parent of 2 kids, I'm just thinking, how hard is it being a solo parent of 6 kids on a small boat for 156 days? And some of these notes are just like we had to dock because the wind blew our sails off. They almost did not make it. So that is one really cool thing that I found that is part of my ancestry that I can kind of build strength of, that I found through my ukulele building, which was just like really cool, really amazing to find out.
Now, have you?
Which I don't think I would have found out.
So speaking of the Portuguese connection, have you spent time or met the Souza family at all?
I've only been. I took a tour before the pandemic.
Okay, we need to resolve that and get you connected
I appreciate
with
the Portuguese
folks.
builders.
Because I don't know if you've seen, since we were showing stuff, I don't know if you've seen the the custom that they built for me.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, the ukulele mana, custom super tenor.
Beautiful.
And so this is all koa from a tree that fell on their land on the Big Island.
Amazing.
Pretty much head to toe. So it's got the 5-piece koa neck. This one light strip is from Maui, but all the faceplate, the fretboard, the body, everything is all from that koa. And so
stunning.
that, their koa is wicked. But just, such an amazing family, such a good group of people. And I know a few people similar to you that have that Portuguese background. And then it's funny, they've kind of just got this natural gravitation towards, Kanelea from just that perspective of the Hawaiian Portuguese connection.
That was the reason why when I was looking to buy a Hawaiian, I went with Kanelea because of the Portuguese connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're good people. So
good people.
We'll definitely get them connected with you as well. So that'll be awesome. Cool. So talk through a little bit more here.
Yeah. So we got, of course we talked about the live edge, this beautiful wood. I get a lot of my wood from Kamoala hardwoods. They like kind of keep an eye out for me if any like live edge comes along. If you're a wood mill out there and you have an option to keep that live edge on, let me know. I'm down.
Yeah.
So often, I think for like consistency, they cut it into rectangles, and then they sell the little scraps. I'm like, oh, just keep that scrap on.
Right.
So,
I know.
Anyways, so we got koa, and then for the fingerboard. So, how this fingerboard came about is I did a collaboration with one of my local artist friends in Petaluma who has kids that go to the same school.
Oh, nice.
And let me grab the original one. So we wanted to build an ukulele for the school auction, and he draws dragons, and we did a rainbow. So this is I made 2 as a backup. And when he first sent me this design, and I'm just like, no way. No. And one thing that I notice with myself is if I ever look at something and I say no way, that should be a challenge to try. And every time I try, I feel like that pushes me to it gets me to the next level of building or whatever I'm doing in my life. So I'm so glad I tried. But there is 179 individual inlaid elements on this thing, which is just like a practice in patience. I love patience, and that was a good practice. And so I did the rainbow one as an exclusive for the school auction. That ukulele sold for I think like $3,500 for the schools, which was awesome.
Good.
It was good money to build. I didn't know how much like a local auction, like a live auction, would go for. You have no idea what it could go for $100. Who knows?
Right.
So
right. You never know with a school auction like that.
Yeah, because it's like if it's the worldwide community, I have a better idea. And I actually, the school got like a lot of emails like, can I bid on it? Can I please bid on it?
Oh, really?
They were like asking me, can I bid on it? I'm like, no, you gotta go to the auction.
That's hilarious.
And so,
but you can buy one from me if you would like to.
Yeah. Well, actually, this dragon, so the rainbow dragon was exclusive. And then what I've been liking to do is, since I started carrying in stores, is I'll make one inlaid fingerboard design, and that's going to be the exclusive for the year. So however many I can get done in a year, that's what I'll do, and then I won't do that design anymore. And so so the rainbow color palette is done, but I started doing the koa some mango color palette.
Nice.
And I think this is looking
I'm phenomenal.
I'm so happy. But again, 179. Like, I don't know if you can see, like the nose is like a piece of wood that is like the size of like a pencil tip. So I'm looking forward to what the next year's design, if it gets even wilder. So I think I'm only going to be able to make about 4 of these. So like this one is going to the Southern Ook store. Right behind it, it's not quite done yet. I've got this one, I think is going to try to make it to the Ukulele Site.
Nice.
And then I'll try to do 2 more this year. If I can, I think I can get 2 more done. They take, because of how intricate it does take a long time. It does take a long time for that one.
So like how many hours would you say you spend on that, like doing an inlay on a fretboard like that, if you had to ballpark it?
Okay, here, yeah, I can try to ballpark. The hard part about my current way of building slash solo parenting is I have no idea how long things take
Right.
because it is so fragmented.
Yeah.
And especially when I'm doing custom where every single thing is different, I have to like keep track of so much things in my head and then go parent and then come back. But I don't know, like the first one took a long time, but when I made these second ones, I probably knocked those two out in like 2 or 3 days. But
Oh
again, I don't know
wow.
how many hours I've spent on them. But like the majority of that is just like I do use a CNC for something that big. I do some hand inlays, but mostly I rely on a CNC. So the CNC does a lot of it, but then it's just like doing the puzzle of getting every single piece in and then making
Right.
sure it's all flushed well. But yeah, I think I really tried to find the time and just knock those ones out.
That's
Cool.
impressive,
Well,
man.
let's see the other. Oh, and then if you want to talk, so speaking of super tenors, I have this is my first 5 string. So
Oh,
excited,
nice.
and I'm super excited. This is my first high gloss finish that I'm like actually like it. So how we talked about earlier and learning things online versus learning things as an apprentice. I One of the things that the thing that took me the longest, which I think is common, is the finish. And the luthier joke, of course, is like when you're building an instrument, 90% of building an instrument is the building process, and then the other 90% is the finishing process, and that is just so true. It just took so long. Anyways, I'm proud that I finally got like a high gloss finish that I'm excited about. I did this by hand too. I have invested in a spray system, so I think going forward it's going to be easier to get a high gloss with my spray system.
Nice.
Anyways, I put a lot of work into it, and
Oh,
I got
dude,
some
I'll bet.
gloss going, so I'm stoked. I'm stoked. And
I
this one's
love
also
that
got
Honu.
an inlay. But the fun thing that I thought was kind of cool is, so this is going to go to a musician, and I didn't want the front to be too inlay heavy and
Yeah.
take away from what they were doing. So, but they wanted some connection with some things and the turtle. So I wanted to put like a really like a bigger inlay on the back, so it's there as a connection. But I wanted something in the front, but I wanted it to be small. So I don't know if you can see this, but like it's a see if I don't know if it'll focus, but it's a you can look on my site, but it's a teeny tiny scene of a turtle swimming in water off the ocean of Ho'okipa Bay.
Oh
And I
man,
kind of like it. It's like it's a whole little scene that's just like right here.
right there.
And so I think I'm gonna try to continue doing more of these, like a whole scene in the 12th fret.
That is
Uh,
awesome.
yeah. Again, if you go to like my Instagram or something, you can get a closer picture. I don't know if this camera is gonna zoom in that close.
It probably won't, but yeah, we'll make
Yeah.
sure that people
But
know
but
where to go.
yeah, but check it out. It's a whole turtle poking its head out of the water with the mountain shore and the shore in the background, and it's this whole story that just fits in the 12th fret.
Amazing, dude. Amazing.
Cool. Yeah, and I've got more to show, but the other thing, like I have this one. I think this one's gonna head over to the Ukulele Site, like some really stunning koa,
Ooh, nice.
and then like some tree with some the fret markers are like little leaves.
I love it. I love it. And this is the thing that I like is that you're doing your your inlays are creative. Like there's story to them, and there's
Yeah.
I mean, and there are a lot. Craig Lavin does amazing inlay work, and his
Oh,
stuff is awesome, and we've seen him
all by
in
hand. All by hand.
oh, dude is wicked.
Oh,
Obviously
tears. I get tears when I look at it. I'm like, oh, that's
his
so
stuff.
beautiful.
One of the
Ugh.
obviously one of the other big masters without without obvious call out is Chuck Moore.
Yeah, that's what
And
I thought you
his
were gonna
stuff
say.
is wicked. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just sick. But yours have a different feel to them,
Thank you.
which is really really cool. There's just I think the material you use and
Use a lot
the
of
way you
wood,
go
like
about it.
scrap
There's
woods.
different. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
and then like I use a lot of scrap woods, and then I brought this out. I also use a lot of stabilized dyed wood.
Mm-hmm.
So these are usually sold as like knife scales, so people make like knife handles.
Yep.
And I just like I'll cut them thinner and then use them as inlay. But because they're stabilized, they're stronger than whatever wood that would have been because it has epoxy all the way through it,
Yep.
and the dye goes all the way through, and it comes in like wild. Like you can get like this doesn't have any finish on it, but this will be like some really deep purple.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the when I got to tour the Kanilea guys, they have some of that stuff, and in fact, I think my orange poplar on here is some of that, is
Stable. Yeah,
similar,
yeah.
just is the way that
It just goes. It
they
goes all the way through. The ink goes all the way through.
yeah, and it really does bring a pop to it that
Yeah,
is just so cool, and it holds the finish
yeah.
well. So
So
if you do that high
like all
gloss,
of these. Again, the camera is not. My garage
you can
lighting
see
is
that.
not the best. Is not the best for taking pictures in. I had to have this like really bright, harsh light, which is great for working, but not great for pictures. But
Yeah, I've
if
got
you
a
were here in
studio out in
person,
the other room.
these colors, yeah, these are all stabilized woods as well, and they really pop in person.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
Yeah,
it totally pops. It holds well. So let's flip over and let's kind of go through a build process with folks.
sure.
Let's
So
talk about, kind of how you go about it, and then we can dive into mine.
cool.
We're not starting from scratch, but we can fill in the gaps
Yeah,
of how we got there.
we're we're at a point to make a lot of good decisions too. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Awesome.
my build process, again, like as I mentioned, I'm hoping to be able to build more once school starts. So I do have a wait list and it's out of control. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for. I'm so thankful, and I appreciate everyone's patience. I'm trying to work as much as I can, build as much as I can. This winter was brutal. Both kids went back to school. We got every single kid's cold. It was, ugh.
In fact,
Anyways,
I think I was trying to
you
meet
were
up
gonna come
with you.
over. You were gonna
Yeah.
come over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, oh, this is a
Yeah.
good thing you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And
We were
everybody got
sick for
sick.
like months.
Oh, brutal.
So, uh, uh, yeah, I do want to try to get a chance for you to come over, and
I will.
hopefully not a time when we're, yeah, booger season. Okay, but yeah, so I have a wait list. Thank you so much. People get on it, and then when it's about time to get started, I am open to like multiple ways of working with people as building. Like I have some customers who want to be like almost completely hands off, and that's completely fine. And I have some customers that want to be like part of all the decisions, and that is great too. The one thing that I like about the custom work, especially with some folks that like have their own vision, is not a vision that I would have. Um, and it wouldn't be things that I would have tried. So it's really cool to be able to have someone else's vision. And always like I take their vision and I try to make it I try to like accomplish their vision while also like making it a coast ukulele.
Right.
Uh but I'm happy to work with people in every aspect of like how much they want to be a part of it. And that's cool. I like both ends of that. And so, for example, when we started, I know you said you wanted an ukulele, you wanted a coast ukulele, and I just gave you some options of like some fun woods that I know you have a lot of beautiful ukuleles, and it's fun to think about more of a unique one. So, I mentioned some wood that I have that like I can't get any more of. It's like, and I don't even know if I don't know. It's this wood called Kopiko ula, and I've built one other full tenor with it before, and I only have one other set. And it's this really super interesting wood. Don't mind these knots; that'll probably be the
Yep.
sound hole,
Yep.
or it structurally be fine. But it's just like this whiter wood with these like dark gray, almost black strips, especially once you put some finish on it. And it's a Hawaiian wood. Again, it's from that quality woods. I can't find any more. I'm even using whatever scraps I have left over to make like
To
minis
build some.
with, because like I just feel this wood, and from what I understand, this wood is sort of like in the Hawaiian kingdom was maybe used for like really hard like maybe like anvils or things. So I'm trying to I'm trying to keep that wood precious and use as much as I can of it. So I
Yep.
was excited when you wanted to use this wood. But again, if someone else is coming, I can, and then what I can do is like, oh, they want something koa with a live edge. I can just kind of go through my stash and like take pictures and show people like, well, here's what woods I have and what will work for the build that you're looking for. And then once we kind of get like sort of the basic, we can do it where we think about the whole build at once. We can also do it where we think about certain steps. Like once I know what the body is going to be, I can start building the body.
Yep.
And then we can start thinking about what are the accents going to be. Like where we're at right now, we need to think about like what kind of rosette are we going to think about? What kind of binding are we going to think about? How is that going to carry into the fingerboard, carry into the head plate? If are there going to be any inlays that will help make those decisions clearer for us?
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for me, I think, hold on one second. All right. Come in. Sorry. You were talking about your kids interrupting my
Oh yeah, yeah.
dog.
So far so
Just,
good. I heard them a little bit, but not.
yeah.
They're not. They're keeping themselves busy.
My dog decided that he wanted to come in and join the session.
Cool. Awesome.
So anyway, for me, I think the biggest thing here is, I think it definitely needs to be. There's a couple of aspects that I go about this when I'm working with a luthier and doing a custom for them or with them. I want to leave as much as possible to the luthier, because what I want the uke to come out as, as part of my ukulele mana. And when I'm talking about and sharing these ukes, I want that uke to say as much about that builder as possible. Right. So that it's like, hey, if I asked Kawai to go build, a complete luthier's choice as much as possible, this is what he would, do. Now, obviously, we want that uke to be for me as well. So there's, that's where we kind of do the work together and we tie in. So I think for me, given the connection that we have, both of us, with the passion and the tie for Hawaii, to the woods that we've got that are endemic, natural Hawaiian woods, I would like to have a Hawaiian theme sort of pushed in through this. My spirit animal is the honu, so when I saw the back of that uke, it really spoke to me, because the honu is very important to me. It's my spirit animal. It's my favorite animal. It's a big passion for me. Maui is the island where I've spent most of my life. So I've been going there since I was about 9 years old. My family's gone every year / every other year, other than when I was in my high school and college years. We didn't go that much, but from when I was a kid to now as an adult and bringing my own family there, we spend a ton of time in Maui. And in fact, that's what this tattoo is. It's a view of Maui from the ocean. So you got Haleakala here and, kind of the Maui coastline. And then, for me, the whole spirit of ukulele, as we talked about, is super important to me. And the reason that I played ukulele and started playing when I did was because of depression, stress, and anxiety. Struggled a lot when I was working in tech and corporate world. I probably dealt with it for about 9 years now. And in 2018 is when I started playing ukulele. And so my other arm tattoo is of the tiki lono. So it's a tiki man of let's see if I can get a little closer here. So you can see Lono here, who is the god of Lono was the god of love, music. And so this is Lono here. He's playing an ukulele, and you can see all the turbulent waves. So the waves, represent all of my, stress and anxiety. And then as he's playing the ukulele, you can see it's calming the waters down here in the center. And then the breath here is this is what is representing the mana. This is, your, part of your gaining your center or your spirit is through breath. And so that's where that's coming from.
I'm a big fan of breath.
Yep.
And of course, then, alo being presence and ha being breath is one way to look at aloha.
Exactly. And then my most recent one, this is my sort of part of my life story, is this tribal tattoo here that I got in Maui just in February. And I can sort of send you the components of that. But you can see where I've got a lot of tie in between the spirituality of Hawaii and the ukulele and the land and the honu. So, however we can, start to work through what we would want to do from a design perspective on that. I'm sure this is going to be multiple iterations of discussing it, but yeah, I think you kind of have a sense of.
Cool. Yeah, I wrote a bunch of notes down.
Yeah, I had a feeling, and I know like the one you did. Did you do this one for the Ukulele Site? I know you had one where you did like a kind of a California. I know you've done one with California in it. I know you've done one with like a coastline in it. There's a number of ways.
Oh, I can't reach that. But yeah.
But like, cool. There's so many ways with that, in just what I just showed you, there's a number of ways that we could go about it. Cool. Yeah.
What I tend to do is like, so we'll have a little more conversations, maybe a little off camera about these specific things that I took notes and you just talked about. And what I like to do next is kind of just like mock something up and see where that goes, see if that's how you're envisioning it. And for those inlays, I'm super stoked. I'm excited to do the inlays. And then since we want to keep it Hawaiian, I think the idea then is just an easy answer is koa,
Yep.
Kopiko with koa binding.
Yep.
I agree. I think we need it. I think that's the way to go. So yep. We'll do a koa rosette, koa binding.
Yep.
The inlays can be koa focused. Then even the neck, if I can find some koa wood, we can do the neck and koa. I think for the fingerboard for inlays to really pop out, we'll have to do something dark. I don't know of any dark Hawaiian fingerboard wood, but
no, I think ebony's fine or whatever ebony, you're using.
Royal blackwood, which is just like cooked Purple Heart. Zero coat if you want a little bit, zero cote if you want a little texture in it. So we can pick like a darker wood, but then just like the dragon ukulele, the koa can kind of pop forward.
Yep, I agree.
And like if we need lighter colors, the Hawaiian mango could pop forward.
Yep, I agree.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's the way to go. Because koa for the fretboard, I mean that's one thing on this one. I love it, and I wouldn't change it because of the story that it tells. But you can see the challenge of some things showing up because of how curly that koa is.
Yeah, curly koa. Whenever I use
it's challenge for inlay.
It's challenging. Mm-hmm. Unless you have like a really big chunk that it's going to be, it could just come out so dark and so light at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. So I think just going with one of those other woods that you're mentioning, a more standard, for lack of a better word, fretboard material, I think is the way to go.
Yeah, that'll help pop whatever the inlay is will be much more visible and forward.
Yep.
Cool. That's what I'll probably do next is get to work on finishing the body. So just so folks can see, like I already have the sides bent. I got a little side sound port in there already. I got the kerfing, the blocks. So it's ready. The sides are pretty much ready for the top and the back to get glued on. We'll throw a rosette on this. We'll talk about where we might want to put some elements of inlays in. We could put elements of inlays just like how I did on this one on the back. That's a possibility. That's an option. Of course, the fingerboard is a great spot to put inlays on. So before I finalize the top and the back, we'll brainstorm some ideas. But I can definitely get started. Throw a koa rosette. If we decide we're not going to do any inlays on the body, then I'll go and just build the body, get the body closed.
Cool.
And then
I'll
start working on the fingerboard.
Perfect. And what I'll do just so you have them as reference, I'll send you pictures of each of the tattoos.
Cool. Awesome.
So that you can see, because then, I think it kind of was dawning on me as I was thinking about this more with your style and element of the way you do inlay could be cool to integrate some of the tattoo stuff work that I've had.
Totally. Yeah.
My specific honu is a tribal honu that has Maui in the center of the shell.
Cool.
And then, you know, I could easily see like, you know, potentially Lono with the breath or something on the fretboard kind of thing, or,
Cool.
you know, there's a number of ways that could go about, but, yeah, we can talk about what that looks like.
Cool. Exciting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool, dude. Yeah, we're already coming up on an hour, so
Oh my goodness, really?
I
Wow, it went
know
by
it
fast.
flies. I know these episodes fly
Sorry,
fast. I've
folks,
had
this is a long episode.
no, man, this is actually perfect. I strive for about an hour.
Oh, good.
Sometimes I
Okay.
get like 45. Sometimes I've gone an hour and a half. We don't even realize it.
Well,
But
if
I
you don't
think,
mind, I don't mind trying to see if the kids want to pop in and say hi. We
yeah,
might
let's
have to
get
do a
them
little
in for
magic
a quick
editing.
hello. No, we're
Magic
good.
editing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll splice.
Cool.
So go grab them.
Any last questions before the kids come over?
No, man. No,
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna
I
go
think I
run in
love
and
the
grab
working of
them.
this. Yeah,
No guarantees, everybody, but I'm gonna try to see if the kids can make a little appearance. All
let's
right,
do
I'll be
it.
right back.
All right, give it a shot. So,
You
how you
can
doing,
just end on the
kids?
video.
Are you daddy's helpers?
Just put a little music and we'll end on the video.
Not helpers at all. All right, man.
And say bye.
I will let you go, and we will talk soon. Bye, you guys.
See ya. Thank you.